48 hours after kicking off our competition season for fall of 2025, we are back to watch our Super Smash Bros. Varsity team kick off their season here tonight, live from our Shenandoah Esports Arena in Winchester, Virginia, a team that we got to witness compete for a national championship and fall just short is ready to make their return to the spotlight today. Hi everybody, I'm Chris Clayton, joined alongside Ben Kincaid, and we are preparing to take you into our Super Smash Bros. Opening night against Florida International University, which should be an extremely exciting matchup, which is something I just said on Tuesday.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute banger for a week one opening, right? FIU is a very, very, very strong team. A lot of familiar faces from the last time we went up against this team as well. Some familiar faces, of course, on our roster as well. But this is just not what you would expect in a week 1 matchup. This is like Ohio State, Texas, bang, right out of the gate here tonight.
Yeah, this is an exciting way to start the season. We talked about it on Tuesday, right? It's always nice being able to sort of test your mettle against some of the best right out the gate and see how you stack up against some of the better teams. We got to watch our Rocket League team go up against a team of 3 incredible Rocket League players, and unfortunately come up short in that one, but a lot to learn and a lot to take away for the rest of the season. And now we get to watch our Super Smash Brothers team attempt a rematch against a team that got the better of them last semester. We can take a look at these stats from last semester. These two teams both walking away with very successful seasons, both in the positive, but when they played each other, FIU came out in the win column.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the stats, right, these numbers are incredibly close. Games won 14-12, 7-5 in games lost. The series scores almost identical here tonight, so it's going to be a very, very close matchup. You mentioned how close the matchup was last time. It was last stock to last stock, last game. This went as far as humanly possible the last time these two teams faced off against each other, and frankly, I'd expect nothing less tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. These two teams have history, and this matchup has been played already, but this time around, it's not quite the same because we've got roster changes. We can take a look at the opposing roster here tonight. Florida International coming in with what we expect to be Dominator, Anathema, Lucas Korn, and SureHyper. 2 of those names should sound a little bit familiar if you were able to watch this matchup last time it was played. Dominator and SureHyper giving SU a good amount of trouble, but 2 new faces and 2 very strong names in that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very stacked team, right? The characters that they're pulling out as well are also very, very powerful. We have a Wolf on SureHyper. Mario is Dominator's first pick. Anthema will be playing the Rob, a very, very strong character in Super Smash Bros. And then Lucas Korn will be piloting a Robin, which does fairly well online into some of, well, if not most, of the matchups that they face. As we now pan the camera over to the home team, the SU Hornets here. Very, very familiar faces. Igloo, Kip, Willie, and AJ, the starting 4.
Yeah, and an interesting change up here because if you were around last semester, you may remember that AJ was the 4th for this roster for a long time, but toward the end of the semester, a mix-up happened on the roster and Far Rhombus ended up being the go-to guy. So, a return to glory here for AJ as he looks to cement himself back on this roster, and the rest of the team certainly welcomes him back. We'll see if he's able to have a big impact here tonight, but last time these two teams played, it was AJ in the lineup, so not necessarily a change there, but a change from the end of the season, a change from the last time we saw this team play.
Yeah, it's going to be, regardless of kind of what happens here with starting players, it's going to be close no matter what. We were talking with Igloo before with kind of some of the matchups that they were going to look at, and it does sound like we do have Igloo standing by with Fernando, our comp coordinator, for an interview. Guys, take it away.
Hi, welcome to the stream. We're here with Avery, our captain and coach for the Smash team, here starting our first game of the season. So Avery, we got some questions for you, just like always, business as usual. Who do we expect to see going into the season?
So we have a very exciting roster here, Nando, but to be honest, it is more of the same, right? We still have me on the roster. We still have Willie and Kip, who you guys are very familiar with. You're probably familiar with AJ also, who's still on the roster. He was actually here before even I got here, if you can believe it, and I've been competing for Shenandoah for the past 3 years now. That being said, me and Kyle and AJ, the real veterans of this team, and then the newcomers being Willie and our new player this year, Isaiah, coming on to the squad. We're very happy to have him as well. So got some sub potential as well on the roster this year, but it's going to be very strong as always, Nando.
Awesome. So a lot of new people, or some new people, a lot of old people, you know, some people we haven't seen in a bit. What do you expect to see from the squad?
I expect to see great things, Nando. I mean, this squad has been putting up some amazing results over the summer break. I've been able to do very well locally. Kyle especially has been making a lot of big waves in New Jersey Smash. And if you know anything about New Jersey Smash, you'd find that very impressive, that he's able to pick up quite a few PR wins over there. And Willie able to stick on to the MDVA PR throughout it all. We've been putting in the work over the summer, and it's been showing our tournament results. So I wouldn't be surprised if we give us another electric season from these improving players.
Awesome. Really excited to hear that. So we have to ask, we saw FIU last season. We're seeing them again game 1 of this season. How do we feel going into this matchup? What do we expect to see going into this?
So if you remember from last year, we actually ended up playing them week 1 as well. So it's a bit of a deja vu draw, the fact that we have to play this really tough squad first week of competition. But I think one thing that does separate this time from last time is that the squad was able to put in some really nice reps of practice before we're going into this match. It felt really rushed last year, and I'm really glad that we've been able to get on the sticks and feel really warm going into this match. The players have been looking really well in warm-ups, and we're very familiar with this roster. I was able to VOD review with the team of what went wrong last time, and it seems like a lot of fixes that are very manageable. I think we have a lot of very apparent things that if we are able to lock up, we could definitely take it home tonight.
Awesome. That's also good to hear. So last time we saw the squad competing, if you were here, it was for a national championship in the NECC. How do we feel going into the season, trying to get that run back? I know we heard some choice words from Willie at the end of last season about how we're gonna come back this season. How are you feeling? What's the team thinking?
Yeah, that was an excellent speech by Willie last year, wasn't it? You just jogged my memory with that one. But yeah, we're feeling very good. I mean, there's the league, it gets better and better as it goes on, so it gets harder to achieve the second place results like we got in NECC last year, but we've also been quite a consistent team. I've only missed 1 national playoff for NACE since I've gotten here, so it's been a very consistent journey for the SU Smash squad. I definitely don't want to ruin that streak, and I don't see any reason why we can't get there again. It's going to be challenging ourselves to continue to play better, to continue to improve ourselves. And if we keep making those micro improvements in our games and other teams don't, we're just going to keep getting better and better results. And I think that could reflect in this season as we get on the field and we showcase our talents versus some players who maybe don't have as many reps as us. If you look at the field on this other team, they have really veteran players, but players that have taken a bit of a big break from Smash in a way, whereas we have not taken any break from Smash at all, Nando. We have been go since I've gotten to the school and before then, really. So it's a matter of keeping up to date in the meta, and maybe we'll have a small edge in that department. We just got to keep our wits about us, and we'll see more improvements and hopefully another national championship in the future. Who knows?
Awesome. Well, we're excited to see this matchup. We're excited to see your season. We're going to be throwing it back to the boys in the back. So stay tuned for some Smash Bros, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you very much, Nando and Avery. That's exciting to hear. Shout out to Nando. I think on his first time doing an interview for our production team. Way to step up there. Now, there's a lot to unpack there, and I hope we have time for all of it. And if not, we'll sprinkle it in between games. We've got plenty of time to talk because I have to imagine that we're going to be here for a while tonight, these two teams being as evenly matched as they are. A couple things I want to hit on. Avery made a good point, made a good point to mention that all of these players, especially Kyle and Kip and himself, have been on quite a streak so far in their local areas, their regional efforts. And as you heard, Kip specifically in the New Jersey region, competing against players like Tweak and Syrup, a big name in the collegiate space right now, going to Syracuse. Smash Bros, the Lucas player that we've played here that gave us all kinds of issues. I mean, that's a loaded region in itself, and Kip certainly has been making a name for himself up there.
Yeah, seeing that they're performing up against that high level of competition is always good to hear when you come back to the collegiate setting, because collegiate has such a spread of talent, and sometimes the spread of characters are a big impact of kind of what goes on. So having that experience with upper class players, I guess, is always good to have for any game, frankly, that you come across. I'm also glad to hear that Willie is still holding strong at MDVA region, right? Still playing very, very strong. Kazuya, Terry, whatever he decides to bring out that week, he plays just about everything, frankly, very, very well. So we'll just have to see how they pan out and where people kind of fit into the puzzle that is today.
Right, that's going to be a big question because, like we've been saying for this whole show so far, standing across the aisle is a very talented team as well, a team that has incredible players that have success in their own regions, but we'll come back to that in a minute. We do have the standings in our group so far that we will expect to see Shenandoah play against throughout this regular season. And looking at these teams, there's some very solid teams, but you have to imagine that FIU tonight will likely be the tallest mountain to climb over the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, FIU is definitely the one that stands out, but we can also see some old names, some old opponents that we've seen throughout last year in our Smash Bros. Competition. ETSU making an appearance back into the group. ODU back. Radford, Full Sail, we had them last year as well. I was talking to Igloo a little earlier on. They said, I think Delaware's pretty much the only team that we did not face last year. And he was saying Delaware also has a pretty solid team. So we'll have to see where this one goes. But I'm expecting very, very close matchups across the board for SU this year.
Yeah, plenty to look forward to. Plenty of familiar faces in that bracket. And that's always just a fun thing in competition in general, right? Because then you can throw all kinds of wrenches in the mix and all kinds of mix-ups, whatever. You think you know someone and then you don't. So plenty to look forward to over the course of this semester, but all eyes on tonight. FIU standing across the aisle. Like I said, very talented players that Shenandoah will have to make their way through. Anathema, a newcomer that we mentioned on this roster, placing top 50 at Riptide very recently. If any of you followed Riptide, plenty of action there and a very impressive performance there. Top 50, I think, in North America, period.
41, I believe,
41
overall, yeah.
ranked in North America. Very, very impressive. Dominator, the returning face, the Mario player, also top 100 in North America. So very, very impressive statistics, very impressive accolades standing on the other side of this matchup. So no matter what, there's a lot of talent on our screens and a lot of exciting Smash Bros. That we're about to get into soon.
Yeah, it's going to be just an absolute blast watching high-level Smash Bros. That's something that is just always fun to watch. Like, you can watch high-level Rocket League and you're like, dang, that was crazy. But something about high-level Smash is just like, you're on the edge of your seat throughout the entire series, and you're like, dude, I don't know what's about to happen, because this could be one frame difference, you know, and when this input came out and when it's going to completely blow a game wide open.
Yeah, and the biggest difference is it's an individual sport, right? You're out there on an island. You're by yourself when you're in the mix. And, you know, Rocket League, sure, there's individual moments. There's highlights. There's lowlights. There's whiffed balls and, you know, moments that you want to forget. But in Smash, it's a 1v1. And while the crew battle certainly helps to alleviate some pressure in certain ways and in certain areas, at the end of the day, you know, there's no one to blame for your performance other than yourself, and that goes for all fighting games. It's why a lot of fighting game players like to play their games. It is 100% on you. So in a team setting like this, that's a lot of extra pressure, especially when you get into big-time matchups like this.
Yeah, it's going to be great regardless of the outcome. We were talking to Igloo as well a little bit before the matchup. Still, Igloo comes up a lot. He is a very strong mind in the Smash Bros. Scene, specifically for this team here. Talking a little bit about Sure Hyper and the aggression that this Wolf likes to play with. So it'll be interesting to see what they toss into this Wolf, because I know it does pretty well into a majority of our matchups here. So we'll have to see if there's a curveball thrown into the mix for this Wolf specifically, who is, I believe, top 20th in the state of Florida. So a very, very strong player in that regard. So we'll have to see how this Wolf plans out, because that's the one, and Anathema, as well, as well, is the two players that I'm looking at the most to kind of shake things up for FIU.
Yeah, biggest thing I'm expecting here tonight is probably for Kip to start, because that's been the playbook for my whole time here.
I don't know anything else.
Yeah, my whole time here is Igloo's whole time here is Kip's whole time here. This is the playbook. And while toward the end of last season, when we got deep into that playoff run in NECC, we started to see things change up a little bit as needed. But now that we're back to 0-0, you know, nothing on the board, I have to imagine that the team will return to their roots and probably start Kip as well. Now, I can't help but mention what I just saw. Not sure if this is a button test. Wait for confirmation from our production team real
Surely.
quick. But I am noticing that right now, on our screens at least, it looks like FIU has just put in a Banjo and Kazooie. Now that was not in our notes.
Yeah, no.
Not in, I don't think, our players' notes. So I'm curious to hear if this player, one, commits to this character, or two, if this player stays this player, who this player is, if that even makes sense. I'm curious who the human operating Banjo and Kazooie
Who's
right
holding
now
the
is.
controller right now?
But it is just a button check for now, so we will keep you posted as soon as we find out. But if that's true, that's a massive mix-up.
Because usually when we see kind of crew battles, you start the button check with whatever player you are going to go in with. So I'm not going to say anything because we can't see it on the stream yet. But yeah, the Banjo is one. Well, I mean, it's
Yeah,
I guess
that's
the
what it
Pac-Man. The Pac-Man is there. So it'll be interesting to see if that is what is going to happen, because that is quite the curveball for everybody right now.
Yeah, a little bit. This team, I don't think has a ton of experience or like a ton of high-level competitive experience against Banjo and Kazooie. I can't think of many Banjos that we have had to go up against.
Yeah.
I know that our professor, Chase Newcomb, shout out. I don't know if you're watching. I hope you feel better soon. I know he plays Banjo when he's in here playing friendlies and stuff. But
He loves Wonder Wing. Loves that
yeah,
move.
I mean, how can you not? That is Banjo and Kazooie, right?
Pretty
there.
much.
Yeah. I'd be curious because this is something that at least I myself haven't seen a ton of. But as we await a decision, the players are now out of their button check, and I am eagerly waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah, surely not, right? There's no feasible way that this is what is about to happen, but man, would it be a fun shakeup if it is, right? We'd expect to see kind of Hyper kind of in that anchoring role, possibly along with Dominator as well. Rob is always a good starting position anyways, just because of the versatility that character has with being able to cover a lot of matchups. And we did just get word that this is Anathema's Banjo, so we will not have a Rob here in this first set.
Assuming they don't change right
That's
now.
True. That is true.
Which I have to think that they can't, but I admittedly I don't know the explicit rules on that. Point is, Anathema, this incoming first year with FIU player, this highly touted Rob player that we were expecting to see, might be playing Banjo. We'll let you know as soon as we confirm they are out of the arena right now. So I have to imagine they're changing their character. You're not going to fool me. They are playing Banjo.
My goodness. All right.
Excuse me. All right. Well, I take it all back. We are getting ready to load into our first matchup of the season, guys. Shenandoah University taking on Florida International University in one of the most exciting and highly anticipated rematches of this year.
So Banjo is the answer, or at least the starter here for FIU, and well, that is an SD right off of the bat. So we'll see if something else happens off of this. Not sure, or SD, excuse me. There it is. FD is a stage, but
correct.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
we'll
Okay. Admittedly, I did not see what caused that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was meant to be another button check for some reason. Or if something happened, but we'll let you know as soon as we know. Point is, again, we're hearing that the wrong map was selected, so we will fix that and I'm sure get right back into it. But point is, again, now at this point it is confirmed. We are going to see Banjo and Kazooie come in for Anathema here, which is a huge deal because Rob, I would argue, and I think a lot of people would argue, is just a more well-rounded, stronger character.
Yeah.
Banjo is a little more niche. Not a bad character.
Mm-hmm.
I would not call a bad character, but a different character, no matter how you want to frame it. So, I don't know. Something that is new for us here and exciting as we get to learn how this is going to roll. But Kip, now tasked with overcoming this challenge, a blind challenge, something that we really have not seen before.
Yeah, one thing about Banjo that they do really, really well is kind of zoning. There's a lot of projectiles with their grenade, just the regular shots from the little birdie friend there, and then of course the Wonder Wing just with a little bit of armor in that regard, a little bit of safety when using that, but you can only use it, I believe it's 5 times per stock. There's 5 wings that'll come up when they use Wonder Wing, and that's kind of the stock counter of that move. If you will, so we'll have to see when they bring that one out, because it is a very, very pivotal move to this Banjo-Kazooie player.
Yeah, the big value of Wonder Wing is that, yeah, it's very strong. It's a kill move. It has super armor. It's got just about everything you would want. There it is. In a move. And yeah, the whole point is that it's meant to be a very strong move, as Kip finally takes their first stock here off a ledge read. Well performed there. Easy smash attack confirmed, but as we look at now, FIU, there we go. Down 1 stock to start this off.
Yeah, and Kip is doing a great job of just playing space and not really letting the Banjo projectiles really get in the way of what they want to do. Farming up the Galaga, the bells there for the confirm as well. Some forward airs coming through as well from the Pac-Man. So there's not much that the Banjo can really do to get out of these strings that are getting put together, because right now they're already up to 87% on the next stock. Great spacing, the side smash to come through as well. Kip now 1 stock remaining to get the 3.
Now, I have to say, I'm surprised that killed all the way from the far side of the stage, but the big downside to Wonder Wing, I mean, I just hyped up this move so much and said it's everything you would want in a move in Smash Bros. The big downside is the end lag. If you don't hit it, if you don't hit their shield, if you don't hit something, you will be sitting for a long time. And so that's what we're seeing right now from Kip, being able to avoid the Wonder Wings on that last stock. He was able to sit or just space it out and wait and capitalize with his bell, but does go down there off of the grab. So Kip will lose his first stock, but still in a great position here to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, still looking great, right? Especially if you can get those Galaga combos going, which Kip has been able to do so far in this matchup. The Hydrant coming through as well, keeping them nice and safe as they farm up these different items that the Pac-Man can pull out. 68% now onto this Banjo. Starting to get into the groove of things a little bit after finding that first stock onto Kip, but now Kip settling back into the game plan, waiting for the Banjo to come to them. Wonder Wing coming out as well. Will connect on the Hydrant, kind of saving them from that end lag position, able to get some more percent. Oh, there's the bell connecting. Oh, but not able to find the side smash.
Yeah, I don't even think Kip was expecting that bell to connect, excuse me. But ultimately not able to confirm a kill off that one, so we return back to neutral. But man, Anathema cannot avoid these bells. A little too, maybe, I don't know if that was nerves or what, but couple mistakes in there leads to Kip walking away with 2 stocks left, and I have to say that's a pretty big deal, because looking at this matchup on paper, there was not really a great spot for Pac-Man to fit into, and I know that was going to be one of the bigger challenges that SU was going to have to overcome, was where can we create value from Pac-Man? I would say he just created it for himself in a heck of a starting matchup.
Yeah, in my notes here for our SU side, I have in parentheses tough for Kip. It's just tough all across the board.
Nice.
For a lot of matches. But yeah, I mean, coming out with 3 stocks to 1 in that scenario is massive, because now you look at what's next, right? A Mario, Wolf, and a Robin are the ones that would be expected to come out. There is a DDD on the roster for a sub position for this FIU squad, so we'll have to see if that comes out again. We know that they have played Kip previously and was able to come out on top in a lot of those matchups last year, so we'll have to see if they do pull the trigger on the DDD or not, but we'll just have to wait and see while FIU go talk about it, collaborate, and pick out what their second player is going to be.
Yeah, this is a big decision for FIU. This is a big moment. Obviously, we're still early in this series, but that Pac-Man is looking awfully hot. The big issue is that you've got a couple good options here, right? Mario with the Flood can deal with Pac-Man projectiles very easily. Wolf has a reflector and ways to get rid of the fire hydrant, and, you know, just overall a bit tougher for Pac-Man. And then you've got this Robin, who can kind of like camp Pac-Man out, but at that point, you know, what are you doing? So I don't know that Robin makes a ton of sense, but that does mean that if my math is correct, that would force one of these two really heavy hitter players in Sure Hyper and Dominator, the two returners that we struggled with last semester, that would force them to come out now, which I think would be advantage SU in a eventual counter pick.
Yeah, I do feel like it makes the most sense to bring out the Mario here, right? Like you mentioned, the Flood, a very strong counter tool to all the projectiles that Pac-Man can play with, has a good aerial game as well, and just a lot of ways to really approach in their kit with forward air, back air, whatever it might be for approaching with a Mario. So we'll have to see if that one does come out. I feel like that's what I would want to send out. I would want to save the Wolf for a little bit later, just because of what Wolf, frankly, is capable of. Has a lot of access to a good ground game and a good aerial game as well on that character. Very, very well-rounded. So I would expect to see the Mario here right now.
Yeah, this is another weird thing because, yeah, if Wolf were to come in now, then there's also not a great counter pick from Shenandoah because it's hard for Igloo or Willie to really punish Wolf's recovery. Like Wolf's recovery is bad. That's kind of his flaw. But it would be hard for our options, our reserve options, to punish it for various reasons that I'm sure we'll see if we get into it. But as we look at these replays, we get to relive why we're even in this situation. Kip looking very strong to start, and Anathema just struggling to get through those bells, ultimately putting FIU in a bit of a hole here to start, but plenty of Smash left to be played.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stuff to look at just in that first matchup with Kip, but we'll have to see if they continue that momentum, right? Kip only losing that one stock is massive for SU in this week 1 matchup. I mean, FIU with just the powerhouse that they are, it does look like it's going to be the Robin selected on the side of FIU. Lucas Korn, the one to go in to see if they can wrap up the final 2 stocks of this Pac-Man. We'll see if they can do it projectile versus projectile. Which one will have more impact?
Yeah, I'm very curious just to see what the game plan will be from this Robin. This, again, is a character that's not overwhelmingly common. I would say a bit more common than Banjo, at least in my experience, but we'll see, right? Ultimately, on the lower end of a lot of people's tier lists, right? This is a character who's extremely slow. That's a big flaw that Robin has, but plenty of hard-hitting options and long-ranged options. So we'll see how they're able to put those options together into ultimately a Kip defeat, or if Kip will be a naysayer in this situation and walk out again with another 3 stocks.
And right now it's looking pretty darn good. 77% already built up onto this Robin to the 37 on the side of Kip. One thing about Robin, I cannot remember what the sword is called, but I know the sword does a lot of damage in the aerial game.
Levin sword, I believe.
The Levin sword?
Yeah, is the
That's
lightning
cool.
one?
I like it. That sounds very fun. So yeah, the Levin sword does a lot of damage in the air, and we can already see now the momentum that Robin can bring up with the aerial game, 92% without getting hit there, about 50% gain for the Robin as they now find themselves in an even game state.
Oh, the bells landing from everywhere so far. Kip very much in his element, in a rhythm right now, and becoming a problem very quickly for this FIU roster. We'll see if they're able to maintain this momentum through multiple players, but so far you couldn't have asked for much of a better start. And again, I'm starting to question the Robin logic. I haven't seen much yet to really blow me away as a good ledge trap situation there with the side Bs, the L-Flyers, finding Kip holding onto the ledge a little too long. But ultimately, still, like, my point still stands. I haven't seen a ton really blow me away as the Levin sword gets knocked out there, and Kip just continuing these combos, racking up percentages and really threatening this second stock already.
Yeah, 96-100 now built up on this second stock. If they can find this one here, it's a very, very even game state for this final stock as some aerials get strung together for the Robin, trying to find an edge guard. The bell coming through as well. Side air, or forward air, excuse me, does come through, but they aren't able to secure the kill. Down smash trying to to frame that Robin recovery, but just not able to find it just yet. The peach coming, or I guess the orange peach, whatever.
I
It's
don't
one
even
of them.
really know.
It's one of them. The bell does connect. There's the down
Wow.
smash, and that will find the second stock on the Robin.
Yeah, again, I want to say I don't remember now, but at least 4 of the 5 stocks Kip has taken so far in this series have been off bells. This FIU roster is just struggling to avoid that hitbox, and that's a really bad hitbox to get hit by. So now Kip in a bit of an uncomfortable situation. He does get iframes back from regrabbing the ledge, but now Robin in a comfortable position as he does miss the fire, but the Thoron connects, catches the roll. So Pac-Man still off stage, looking for a way back in. The forward smash will do it, sending Kip to the corner, but not without wreaking havoc and taking 5 stocks before going down.
Yeah, I mean, that is just a massive performance coming through from Kip there. I believe that makes what's the count, 9-7 now here in favor of SEO2. Stock lead looking pretty darn good for the foreseeable future of this first set. So we'll have to see who comes in next. We see AJ standing. Igloo is up talking to the team. I do not see catching any wind of the Willie just yet, possibly just off to the right of the camera. But AJ is sitting down, so we can only assume it's the Falco coming in to counter this Robin.
Yeah, we did see Willie earlier between the Banjo and the Robin set, so we know he's in the building. He
That's
is an
always
option.
good.
He's not on camera right now, but AJ settling into the hot seat now, and this is interesting to me because, again, AJ is sort of the one character on the roster that I believe, expected to do well into Robin. So this is where those early series stock advantages build sort of interest, I guess, right? Where you turn 1-2 stock advantages into more. Situations like these, right? We have an optimal matchup, or at least a matchup that we had our eyes on this whole time, in Falco being able to outspeed and deal with the projectiles because of his reflector. So I would expect AJ to sort of get through this relatively smoothly, right? Worst case, trade 1 for 1. You can never complain about that. That was something that Kevin and I would talk about all the time. But ideally, right, this is where we see AJ build more of an advantage from the work that this man did. Those stocks are very much going to pay off the longer this goes on, with Kip taking 5 stocks.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good matchup, I think, for AJ here. The reflector, of course, with the projectiles is always going to be a nice thing to have. To look at how the Falco character works, right? Up throw, up tilt. Those are the big starters for a lot of the combos that you see on a Falco. So expect them to kind of start fishing for those starts of those combos, as well as using the laser to just rack up some scrap percentage, right? It's a far-ranged ability. You can use it over and over again. There's practically no limit, and if you're getting hit, you're going to have a lot of percentage at the end of the day. So definitely look for this Falco to be fishing for some extra percent whenever they can.
Yeah, the big thing I'm curious about, too, is, I don't know if we saw it there. I'm curious if Falco Laser beats out any of Robin's projectiles. Like, Falco Laser is the middle of the 3 Star Fox lasers, right, between Wolf and Fox. But I don't, excuse me, I don't know if it would sort of clank or, beat out other projectile options. I'm sure it doesn't beat some of Robin's stronger ones, but the quick sort of fast options, I would love to see what the outcome of that will be, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, it doesn't go through L-Fire.
Yep.
We're going to keep an eye on those as they come, but Ledge Trap unsuccessful there for FIU, as now AJ absolutely in a position to be looking to take this stock away. 100% on Robin. Robin is a very heavy character with a very slow but appropriately heavy, so hard to take down, but now well over 100% with a great recovery. Does make it back onto the stage and finds a grab. A bit of a reversal situation here. AJ does get caught in the fire and will lose his first. So now the pressure falls on AJ to try to walk out of this one without much more damage taken.
Yeah, and with 121 built up already on this Robin, it looks likely that they will only lose that 1 stock. The grab coming through, able to smash out of it is the Robin. The recovery coming through. AJ not going for the down air into down air true combo on that ledge guard there. That's something that he taught me the other day because I got hit with it quite a lot when I was playing against him just a couple days ago. So we'll have to see if he brings that one out. But with the percentage as high as it is, it's not likely that that will come through just because it is kind of hard to gauge where they're going to go. As the juggle coming through from Robin, trying to get a little bit more. Now looking for the edge guard from AJ, trying to recover back. We'll be able to find the back air. That's 2 stocks now down from this Falco.
Yeah, AJ just getting spaced out a little bit there as he does find the back air to finally finish this Robin off. But Robin, Lucas Korn doing a great job of trying to claw this back, right? Taking 2 stocks in a pretty critical situation does make this closer than it would have been. I mean, I guess that sounds redundant, but those are 2 pretty important stocks for Florida International. So now, Falco, AJ still with an opportunity to pull ahead here and extend this lead, but a bit harder than it might have looked a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, 7-6 now is now the stock count. We had a 2-stock lead. Now it's cut down to 1. AJ probably kicking himself a little bit with losing that 2nd stock, but hey, it happens. First game of the season, first game for y'all. For the season, I just said that. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll have to see how they bounce back with that. But AJ, we know he is very capable of coming away with very, very strong performances. It's just a matter of if the momentum's there for him starting off in some of these matchups.
Yeah, and again, looking at the character matchups before this series, AJ's job was to get through Robin, and he did. So, like, your job is finished. Anything you get now is extra credit, and that's not a bad situation to be in by any means. So now the bigger question is now, who will you have this opportunity against? SureHyper and Dominator, the 2 returners, the 2 players that gave SU some serious trouble last semester, are the 2 remaining. And as we look back at these replays once again, you can see that Lucas Korn, again, doing a great job of making the most out of a pretty bad situation, and ultimately AJ comes away with it. But now, again, a big question, a big decision ahead of FIU, and we will see what decision they make and if it pays off here in set 1.
I wonder if we're going to see a little Star Fox on Star Fox kind of situation. The Wolf coming out against the Falco. Ooh.
That would be crazy.
That would be cool. Yeah. But yeah, I think both of these coming through make sense. I mean, for either one, I think both of them are good matchups for at least a neutral matchup for both sides. I don't think anyone necessarily has an upper hand in any of these ones. So I think any pick is fine. It's just a matter of who do you want going into either an Igloo Yoshi or Kazuya Terry later on with Willie still in reserves there in that anchor position. Just kind of finding those puzzle pieces where they land for FIU of who they want the matchups to really look like.
Yeah, we will keep an eye down the line. And again, a bit of a curveball has just appeared on our screen. We get a bit of a tease before all of you at home, but as we load into our next matchup here, player number 3 for FIU appears to be a Greninja. Now, this is another big surprise because I'm dying to see what player this is, but this is not a character, at least, that we had on our radar. So if this is SureHyper or Dominator or someone else, okay, Whoa. It is SureHyper, so the Wolf opting out of the Wolf, SureHyper thinking that Greninja would be a better option. We'll see if that pays off, but Greninja, a very different character from Wolf.
Yeah, Greninja, a very, very fast character as well. Does very good, has very good smash attacks that cover a very wide range of space. Specifically, I believe I'm thinking of the up smash. Maybe it might be the down smash as well. One of the two where he puts his shurikens up and he slams them down onto the ground. That does a whole lot of damage and has a whole lot of range as well. The two frame. Yeah, that was a down smash coming through, trying to true frame the ledge grab. There's the up smash there, but yeah, the Greninja just doing a great job at possessing so much space, and we'll be able to find that stock relatively quickly as we now find ourselves tied 6-6.
Yeah, okay, so Greninja is a very unique character and one that we have seen quite a bit on this broadcast. If any of you remember, I believe it's Anarchy, one of the South Carolina players that we saw at Boost on the Beach, or I believe on Winthrop's roster. Greninja is a very intimidating character because you said it, he's very fast, and he Yeah, occupy space, but in the form of preventing you from ever landing. It's so hard to be on stage when Greninja has you in these, has you in the air or has you off stage. It's very hard to get back, and that's sort of what we saw there. Falco forced to recover high, but from the, I forget the name of that move, but it's similar to a Mario Flood in that it's just water that pushes you. It doesn't deal damage. It doesn't have a hitbox per se, but it just pushes you. It made Falco drift in that situation into a very punishable position. So Greninja looking pretty good. Sure Hyper with a interesting decision to opt out of the Wolf, and for this Greninja, it is so far 1-0, and we'll see if that trend continues. But SU now with a big decision to make. While stocks are tied, SU gets counterpick because of the stock advantage they had a moment ago.
Yeah, so we'll have to see who comes in. We'd expect that Willie is not going to be the one to come in this matchup just because of how strong they are in the anchor position, and the characters that they play specifically do a great job at playing from behind and getting stocks fairly early in some of their matchups. So we do expect to see Igloo come in here on the Yoshi or possibly the Samus, but I'd expect it to be the Yoshi, as that is kind of the tried and true character that we do see from Igloo pretty much every single time they come onto the screen. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, right? A fairly floaty character in the Dinosaur, the Yoshi coming through that does pretty well in the air, so possibly trying to take away some of the air game that Greninja does have, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see how this one matches up.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when Shenandoah played Winthrop, if Igloo played Yoshi or Samus, and I want to say he went Yoshi, and now we are going to see that Igloo is going Yoshi here today. So I think it's the right move. I think the Samus really comes out in nightmare matchups for Yoshi, or sometimes in mirror matchups, but I would not file Greninja under that category, so we get to watch on our screens an even 6-6 matchup between Igloo and Sure Hyper, and what we assume to be Willie and Dominator sitting behind them. So a lot at stake here, as I'm sure SU, coming off of last year, would have liked to have a bigger stock advantage going into these last two players, but ultimately that's not the case, and they have to deal with what's in front of them, which is a 3-stock Greninja.
Yeah, the Greninja already playing space with that Shuriken coming through, the forward air as well coming through from Igloo, the forward smash, doing a great job. Won't be able to find the stock just yet, trying to get that grab as well, but just unable to do so is Avery on this Yoshi. But very high percentages now built up on both sides. Greninja now back to playing that long-range Shuriken game, just trying to pick up any kind of stock percentage that they can find, as now it's the forward smash into up tilt. Excuse me. Forward
up
air into up air. There it is.
There you
to
go.
find that one, and now Greninja answers back with a stock of their own.
Yeah, so good stuff so far, right? Both of these players playing their game plan pretty predictably or successfully. Greninja, again, looking to utilize the speed. Igloo sort of struggling to match it, but doesn't really need to, right? Finding these little opportunities to get in and find his own combos, using the aerial game as much as he can, as we see, once again, another string of up airs, able to air dodge out of that one. But just throwing out these hitboxes, forward airs, back airs, whatever's appropriate. That Nair, again, very dangerous setup tool for Yoshi, as he's able to find a double jab reset there into a forward smash, but now Greninja forced to use all his recovery options and does get back and get a forward smash off. So bit of a reversal here, but goes for a counter. Igloo does not fall for it. So once again, the table turns, but now both players back on stage, and we reset to neutral. Both over 100%.
Yeah, both very high percentages. Waits out the counter again, but is able to get that air dodge, but does not last too much longer than that. Igloo able to find the second stock on the Greninja. So let's see how much extra credit now that Igloo can find on this second stock of their own. 123% built up, and the answer is 8.3%. Not a whole lot, not what Igloo was looking for in that last stock, but still a very, very even matchup.
Yeah, that side B becoming a bit of a problem here for Igloo, as he is Greninja is able to avoid the egg hitboxes and any other hitboxes that Igloo throws out while he is blinking. So Greninja, again, Sure Hyper here, utilizing his character to the fullest, and it's what you'd expect from a high-level player like this, getting the up air drag downs. Yoshi able to fall out of that one. What looked like a pretty scary combo. He does find the sweet spot forward air into an up smash, forcing Sure Hyper to recover from all the way off stage. He does down air back onto the stage. Could have been punished there. The up smash connects, but it won't be enough. Yoshi deceptively heavy, but now over 100% of his own. And now both of these characters potentially a hit or two away from death here. The counter's starting to fly once again, and unsuccessful with all of them so far. The up smash does not connect either, and a sour spot forward air will be the one to do it. Igloo comes out on top and remains one stock ahead going into FIU's final player.
That was an unbelievably close matchup between Sure Hyper and Igloo there. Last stock, 100% plus on both of the characters. Both of them, you can see Sure Hyper getting a little bit cautious, throwing out some more counters there, just trying to call out the approach of Igloo with that forward air. And Igloo, the patience coming through from this player. Time and time again, we see this player be so patient and wait for the perfect moments to go in and find their approaches, and they are able to find it beautifully and now secure SU with a 4-3 set lead.
Yeah, I would say it all the time when I was back here with Kevin that Igloo is a cold-blooded man. I mean, that's someone who never seems to be fazed by the moment, is never intimidated by a matchup by a big-name player. Does not matter. He will go in and take care of business, and that's experience. That's a player who's been around, who is in his 4th year of competition here in Varsity competitive Smash Bros. That's the type of presence you need to succeed in situations like this. Because let's be real, we have seen Shenandoah in these types of situations come up short. Last stock, last hit situations, the moment becomes a bit too much, and Shenandoah has come up short in the past. But that's a big deal for SU, walking out of that on top and giving what we assume to be Willie in this 4th spot an advantage if Igloo is to go down in this next matchup. All of it a very big deal and a moment that is never too big for Igloo.
Now we get to see Igloo go up against what we can only assume is Dominator on the Mario, right? We don't expect a character swap, but hey, we said that the last 15 times and there were a character swap.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it is going to be the Mario or not. Well, it does seem like we got word from the production that it's actually going to be Botan on the DDD instead of Dominator on the Mario.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So yes, there's a sub on, well, there's a 5th player, I should say, on Florida International's roster, and it's a player that we saw last semester when these two teams met. It is the King DDD. There was a storyline going on that day that Kip and this King Botan, King DDD player are friends, like outside of the game. They know each other, and that was the storyline that built up to be actually quite a problem for SU because this DDD, while we expected our characters to do pretty solid into King DDD, I believe King DDD, I don't know if he ever took more than 3 stocks, but he consistently took more than I think Shenandoah was expecting. Yeah. And in that sense, this King DDD gave SU some serious trouble. While statistically it might not have looked like it, it was. Now, though, part of the reason why that was trouble for SU was because these heavy hitters were coming in after him. And now that is not the case. This King DDD's 3 stocks are it for Florida International. And going into a Yoshi and what I have to assume would probably be Kazuya, that's pretty intimidating for King DDD. That's a hard mountain to climb. So we'll see if he's able to get it done this time. But a big surprise here from FIU as we will not see the big name that we were anticipating, but a problem nonetheless, a potential problem for sure with history against SU.
Yeah, and this makes me question if Dominator is available for tonight's matchup, right? Because you would expect Dominator to be the anchor, if not the second to last, where Shirt Hyper was placed in this matchup. Or maybe this is just a strategic mix-up to see if they can find some momentum with the DDD potentially to come in the second set if they do not find the next 4 stocks here, where we can already see Igloo mixing it up. The DDD having quite a hard time getting some damage onto this Yoshi. 120 already built up onto the DDD thus far.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, Igloo looking extremely comfortable and dangerously close to breaking that shield. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, like, there's a serious discourse going on right now in the Super Smash Bros. World about whether or not King DDD is the worst character in the game. I don't agree with it, but there are people who do, and like that's an undeniable aspect of this character. He's slow, he doesn't have what a lot of other heavyweights have, and right now Igloo is taking full advantage of it and looking extremely comfortable along the way. Right now, though, struggling to finish this stock off, and with a heavyweight like King DDD, he certainly can kill you at these low percentages. So while 65% doesn't look very intimidating, it could be against the King DDD, but not when he's catching shoes to the face like that. And a well-placed nair at the ledge will finally take that first stock, but about 180% later than I'm sure, or about 100% later than I'm sure Igloo was expecting.
Yeah, 108 now built up on this last stock.
Look at that.
For Igloo here. I mean, somehow getting no knockback thus far is this DDD up air to a forward air. Won't be able to connect, trying to find an angle to mix up the DDD, but unable to do so. As we see 71%, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a pretty high percent. He could die here. No. It'll be around probably 200% where this DDD will fall next, unless Igloo can have some tricks up their sleeve, trying to call out a roll, but unable to find the connection.
Yeah, big call out there. Didn't quite work out, but again, goes pretty unpunished for it, as now he does find a sweet spot forward air over the stage, confirms it into an up smash, and again, disastrous situation for Botan here on the DDD, because there's another player behind this dinosaur, but right now you got to get through the dinosaur, and the dinosaur's not going down very easy. Igloo looking great, but finally the I forget what that thing is called, the spiky Gordo thing that that King DDD has. I don't play the Kirby games.
I'm trying to think, like, I know the Piranha Plant thing is a Patooey, but I don't know if that's what
not
his is called.
Any Kirby players in the prod room? I don't remember. Well, ultimately, Igloo, after a very strong performance, is able to take out King Botan, So what? Repeat that, production?
I heard Kirby is pink, and that's it. That's all I heard.
Yeah, we knew that. But, but King DDD is a villain in the Kirby games, and that spiky black ball thing is in Kirby games as well. We'll come back to it. I'll Google it between series and have an answer for you ready by set 2. Ultimately, hey, Igloo, very cold-blooded and putting his team in an extremely successful situation, but job's not finished, right? 1 player left for SU, stocks to 3-1. That's what I thought. Production just said, is it a Gordo? And I think that's right. I think I said that somewhere in my rambling, but I didn't. I think that's right. Anyway,
we got there. We
have a good time here. But it's looking pretty good for Shenandoah right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, with Willie being
I'm gonna Google it.
The last one. Yeah, let's Google that. Willie being the last one on deck here into a very big-bodied King DDD. It has to be unbelievably easy for either Kazuya or Terry. We expect it to be Kazuya to come through to hit combos on this character. There's not a whole lot of guess you have to do because of the size of this character. So we'll have to see, frankly, how fast this stock is taken, because I don't think it'll take that long for Willie to clean this one up.
Yeah, I hate to say it, I don't think so either. Yeah. It's a Gordo. Look, last time we saw, there's a core memory in my mind of Kevin calling when Willie got put into a Bowser, and within 30 seconds or so, Willie hit 2 of the most disgusting combos on this poor Bowser. But now part of the reason that worked is because Bowser's recovery is trash, and King DDD has a lot stronger recovery, so like that specific combo would not necessarily work. But the point is they're very easy to combo because they're big hitboxes, they're heavy hitboxes, they don't fall out of these combos very easily. So, yes, have to imagine this last player will be Willie, have to imagine this last character will be Kazuya, and I have to imagine that he will not struggle very much in this matchup. But cannot overlook this player, right? Again, Botan gave some serious trouble to SU last time they played, and it was a surprise. It was because the team was somewhat overlooking this player. So, backs against the wall, Botan has an opportunity to really strike back here, but it would take some of the best Smash Bros we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to just take 3 stocks and you have 1 left, right? It's very, very difficult, but it's one thing when you are a King DDD into a Kazuya. That is just an unbelievably tough matchup for any heavyweight in this game, frankly. Kazuya just does a very, very good job just chaining combos together. And it's another thing when it's Willie playing Kazuya, right? Because any Kazuya is like, yeah, if I took Kazuya into King DDD, no, that's not going to work. I'm screwed, right? But if Willie is piloting this Kazuya, it's going to be very, very difficult to get away from combos. The chase that Willie tends to find himself when he is playing these heavyweights is hard to get away from. And the speed in which Willie throws out electrics is terrifying.
Yeah, this is... Willie's Kazuya is intimidating for many reasons, but the biggest one, this is going to sound silly, but he's very good at Kazuya. And, like, hear me out. Kazuya has inputs, Kazuya has combos, Kazuya can find himself in so many different situations and so many options in these situations, and Willie is very good in his own shoes. His Kazuya is very, very good compared to, say, other characters or other Kazuya players that can just be fundamentally good at Smash and capitalize off of their character having some, I'll call them special interactions, surprising interactions, but Willie is very good at intentionally using them against his opponents. And so, as we start this one off, I have to say, a bit of a surprise here, but unable to ledge guard that one. He does get the crumple, and just like that, Willie walks out unscathed, and SU will take a 1-0 lead in this series over Florida International.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't let the high percentage fool you on Kazuya, because he does have a rage potential or a rage kind of gimmick to the character where he does more damage and has a couple cool moves that he can pull out as well when he's above. Yeah, oh my gosh, look at it. There he is. Yep, saying hello. How you doing? Yeah, so that is a 1-0 series lead here for SU over FIU. Now, I don't know what to expect in this second set, just because we saw so much mix-up in the first set, right? There were so many different characters coming through that we were not expecting.
Yeah, I mean, where do we even start? Like, we were not expecting Anathema to play Banjo and Kazooie. Mm-hmm. We were not expecting Dominator to no-show at all. We were not expecting to see King Botan, period. I mean, what of that if you're FIU? Because I do think a couple of those are roots of issues that FIU would probably need to change if they are to come out on top in 2 back-to-back sets. But we're not in the room. We don't know what, if Dominator's not there, if Dominator's not on this team, if Dominator's just not in the building, or if this person had a class until, 10 minutes from now.
Yeah.
And, anything could be going on right now, but that's going to be the big story is, will we see changes in those fronts, or is FIU going to double down on these strategies? Because ultimately it was closer than I'm sure we would have expected if we had that information coming into this. But for now, it sounds like we are going to take a quick break between these 2 sets, so you won't want to go anywhere as we await the exciting potential conclusion with Shenandoah up 1-0 over a team that took them down just last semester. We'll see you on the other side.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
back to our opening week of competition here from our Shenandoah University Esports Arena live in Winchester, Virginia, where our Varsity Smash Bros. Team is currently up 1-0 in a best-of-3 against a team that took them 3 games last semester in a heartbreaking loss. So far, we've seen exciting performances from our team, including these numbers from our Pac-Man player himself. A surprising 5 stocks. Well, I can't say too surprising. 5 stocks taken before going down. Ultimately, a much-needed strong open for this SU squad as they look to repeat the success they just had an hour ago. I'm Chris Clayton, and I'm joined once again by Ben Kincaid as we prepare to take you through set number 2 of this best-of-3 between Shenandoah University and Florida International University.
Now, if you joined us at the start of this whole series, we were saying FIU has a Wolf, a Mario, Rob, Robin, and DDD. We shot the DDD and Robin.
50% on that, or I guess 40% on that.
Something like that.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
A lot of surprises so far in this series as we load right into the action here for set number 2, and already a mix-up, I think a much-needed mix-up for FIU as Kip goes very low, a little too low, and a big mistake to start this off as Kip will start this set, down 1 stock due to a self-inflicted error.
Yeah, an SD coming through there from Kip on this Pac-Man, only 38% built up on the Robin beforehand. So we'll see if they can recover from that mental mishap. But right now it looks like they're doing a pretty good job putting some strings together with some forward airs getting tossed into the mix. The Peach thrown out as well, throwing that straight down instead, but will fall into the fire from Robin, able to get back to stage 81% and still looking good. Now back down to 61 after that heal.
Yeah, so can't blame FIU for making this change, right? The Banjo and Kazooie to start last set really did not pay off, I'm sure, the way they were hoping, as Kip once again forced to recover back to the ledge, and Lucas here on the Robin. That's a little confusing, but on the Robin, unable to punish. So now the bells coming out. That was the big moneymaker for Kip in set 1. Those bell hitboxes connecting from all points on the stage, really under any situations. So looking to repeat that success for sure as more bells come out. Dangerous situations there. The bell drops, but unneeded, as now Kip with an opportunity to potentially put this stock away. Lucas able to make it back with the side B, little B reverse action in the air. Does get grabbed near the ledge, and a back throw will do it to even the stock count as Kip looks to chip away at this little hole that he dug himself to start.
Yeah, 102 already built up onto the second stock here on Kip. Let's see if he can recover from the early mishap. Lucas trying not to allow the recovery to happen. The apple getting tossed out as well. Forward air will come back, farm up what I assume is going to be a bell. Bell, I believe, is in hand, but instead Lucas will be able to secure that second stock with only 56% getting built up on their own second stock.
Yeah, nice little falling up there, up air from the platform, but man, Kip is doing a great job of applying so much pressure right now. So many hitboxes, and you know, usually we're used to seeing Kip and Pac-Man as a character sort of sit back and play a slow game, sit behind the fire hydrant, and do what you need to do to create advantages for yourself. But right now, especially through these last 2 stocks, since losing that first, Kip has been up in Lucas's face and doing everything he can to overwhelm this Robin, and so far, it's been working. Now, recently, we're seeing a bit more pressure the other direction, but just like that, the bell connects, and that's that moneymaker we were talking about. Kip able to find another one there, tie up the stock count once again, but percentage lead still favoring FIU here.
Yeah, but still fairly close, right? Kip has been doing a great job at battling back with the massive deficit that they found themselves in. With just a few more combos, a few more hits here, we're practically back to even here in this matchup. The grab into the back throw as well to come through. I'm assuming this could be another Galaga fish to try to get some more percentage, but now the ledge guard coming through from Lucas. Let's see what they can get done. Sending Kip back off stage. The recovery very, very difficult in this matchup.
Yeah, not where you'd like to find yourself there. It's stuck on the trampoline. Robin goes out wide to find that forward air. That Levin sword hits real hard, and I'm sure Kip is beating himself up for that one. A tough start to set 2 here for Shenandoah, kicking off with an SD, but have to be able to shake that one off as we await to see who will take the seat next. Based off what you all are seeing right now, it certainly looks like it will be AJ, so we will maintain the order we had from set 1, but very different circumstances this time around.
Yeah, I can only assume the Falco is the one to come in, and it looks like that is exactly what we are going to see. Let's see if the Falco has a little bit of a better time here against this Robin than they did in the first set. Robin was able to secure 2 stocks before AJ was finally able to clean up those last few on the Robin. I believe the last one on that Robin. So we'll see what that set looks like, what that matchup looks like. But I think AJ kind of knows what to expect coming through from this Robin player now, so I can only assume that they will be able to clean up this one, at least with the very maximum stocks lost would be 1.
Yeah, this is, again, that matchup we talked about pregame that we sort of had our eyes on as we look back in the replays. Again, a heartbreaking start here, as I'm sure Kip knows that this could have been a significantly better outcome without that first SD. But the past is the past, and he certainly made up for it as best he could along the way, taking 2 stocks before going down. So looking great, but unfortunately now, yes, AJ forced to go back into a similar situation, 3 stocks to 1 in this specific matchup, and a matchup that we put some pretty good weight on the Falco side, but ultimately came up short in 2-1 stock exchange in this matchup again specifically. So if you're SU, under these circumstances, you certainly need a better outcome than that. Now fighting from behind for the first time in this series, we will see how Shenandoah adapts. But we load back into our second matchup now, as AJ tasked with knocking out this Robin and getting the ship back on course.
Taunts coming through, a customary collegiate Smash Bros. Start to the matchup that they do, but let's see what AJ can now do. Already falling behind early, 61-76 now to 0, struggling to get anything going. The up throw combo starter will come through, but they aren't able to connect that into anything more. The reflector being tossed out left and right just to see if they can find any avenue of approach in this matchup. Now trying to get the Robin off stage, but still not able to do much with any momentum that they are gaining. That is 1 stock down already. AJ already struggling in this matchup.
Yeah, this is, excuse me, already the start to this. It looks like both of these players playing a little nervous. I mean, both looking probably to maximize the value of the situation they're in. Robin looking to not lose this stock at all. AJ looking to not lose any stocks. Unfortunately, not the case anymore, but now I'd like to see a little bit more aggression from this Falco, right? You're down the 1 stock already, and it's going to take a bit more pressure on this Robin. But like we said before, you know, Robin has so many projectiles, and it's just going to take AJ finding his opportunity and capitalizing in order to take this Robin down. So far, 100%, nearly 100% for this Robin, but man, are these side Bs doing work, and Robin once again goes out deep up high to find the aerial to put AJ away, now down 2 stocks again.
Yeah, trying to find that forward smash, but just unable to find anything just yet on the side of AJ. 120 built up, but the heal coming through is so much, now down to 99% on this Robin. AJ, can you find this stock? The ledge guard yet again coming through from Robin, but AJ mixing it up with the side B instead to recover and get back to the main stage. Aerial coming through as well, now trying to seal the deal, but no, it's again Lucas getting back to the ledge.
Yeah, and again, you hate to see SU's players on the outside, on the wrong end of these Robin side Bs. Those are really putting in work right now as he goes for another Nosferatu heal. Can't quite get it, but does find a grab and a back throw. Not quite enough, but Robin really charging these up. A great tech there from AJ, but not enough to make it back to stage, and disaster strikes for Shenandoah. Florida International striking back hard in set 2 here.
Yeah, I mean, this Robin, Lucas starting off looking super, super good so far in this Falco matchup. AJ not able to get the ball rolling in a matchup that we thought with the reflector and the speed that this Falco has would be able to excel in this specific matchup. But so far, it's 10 stocks to now 6 remaining on the side of FIU, the one with 10. So it's already down to Igloo and Willie, right? Do you put in some firepower early with Willie to just try to keep the momentum going and try to regain some of that power, or do you go back in with Igloo on the Yoshi? And frankly, that looks like it is what it is going to be.
Yeah, you all saw what we saw. It looks like Igloo will be the one to have to go and calm the tide a little bit, put some water on the fire, at least, hopefully. But again, this is a player that I just talked about last set. I talked about seemingly every time he's on the desk, he's cold-blooded. He's a very calm individual, and he knows how to deal with pressure situations like these, especially when they're stacked against him. So we'll see what he's able to put together this time around, but as we load into our now third matchup, unfortunately for SU, the same FIU opponent loading in every time. Igloo just looking to put this one pesky Robin stock away and get this ball rolling again.
Yeah, Rob and Lucas already looking good with some aerial carries, and now it's up tilt, up air, just going wide. The Nair will be able to connect from Igloo there. Just trying to seal the deal quickly on this final Robin stock to try to get to this next player and just kind of see if they can regain some momentum. 97%, however, already built up onto this Igloo stock means that one is going to go bye-bye with 2 side Bs connecting into the up smash.
Yeah, these L-Fires really giving SU some trouble here, and that's the move. That's Robin as a character. It's pretty much everything revolves around spacing those side Bs and capitalizing, maybe stacking them on top of each other like we saw with that shield interaction, and now Igloo down his first stock, just still looking to put one away, and it looks like that might do it. Not quite enough. One more Nair, and Robin will continue, but eventually, look at that bar above Robin's head. Igloo unable to punish that one on the last recovery possible for Robin. So, get away with one there. FIU now in a situation to potentially capitalize. Still very close to death as Igloo finds a window, but not enough to kill off the top. So we return back to the platform. 140% on this Robin. These Fire Emblem characters don't tend to live this long, but Robin is the one exception. He is so heavy and can live so much more than the others.
Yeah, 130 built up. The eggs trying to find an approach there from Igloo, but unable to find the look that they were looking for. Back there coming through, and now the up smash will be the one to finally find this first player, Lucas of FIU, off the board. And now you've lost a stock, you're down to 5, and there's still 9 on the board for FIU.
Yeah, very, very large change of pace here for FIU and just for this whole series, right? This was not a major change up from set 1. It was a move of one player from second to first and some pretty serious self-inflicted wounds coming from Shenandoah that have put them in this hole, right? And so now it's on them to claw out of it. And so far, not the start I'm sure Igloo would have liked to see, right? I'm sure the ideal game plan would have been to get that stock quick and then maybe lose one stock in the following matchup. But now that's off the table, right? The situation has gotten marginally worse than it was before that matchup. But again, like Kevin and I would say all the time, trading 1 for 1 is never really something you can complain about in this setting. So take it as it is, right? Igloo, now with 2 stocks remaining, has 9 stocks to get through with a little help from Willie.
Yeah, 9 stocks is a big ask. I mean, we have what we are assuming is going to be the Banjo coming in second from what we saw before. We know Anathema plays Rob as well, so another very, very strong character in the wings, potentially, if Anthema wants to bring that one out. We have not seen Dominator yet. Unsure if that character or player is in the building to be played, because we would have assumed to see them there in that first set, but we're unsure if that was just a potential mix-up with Botan there. And then we have SureHyper still in the wings, piloting that Greninja that went the distance with Avery's or Igloo's rather Yoshi in that first set. So we'll have to see kind of where the answers fall now for what we have left for SU.
Yeah, and we have just received word as well that the next character for FIU will be Banjo again, from presumably Anathema again. So this is very interesting to me because, again, so the first time around there could have been an argument made that, like, FIU, a very talented team in a great position to succeed in this group, maybe was just experimenting a little bit. And then set one didn't quite go the way they wanted, and then they were going to sort of flip the switch for set two. But so far they haven't needed to, right? Robin goes out and super overperforms. So then now we have Anathema coming back in on potentially secondary again, like maybe another change of plans instead of fully turning it on, like, oh, this is going better than we expect, so we're going to continue to experiment. It's hard to say. I don't know. I'm not in the room, and only FIU can know the answers to those questions, but certainly an observation, right? Banjo, last time around, was getting caught by a lot of bells. It looked just a little nervous under the pressure of the situation, but now Kip is off the table, AJ is off the table, and now you're playing against somebody that you did not play against at all in set one. So, Igloo with a certainly challenging task, but again, one that he's going to have to be confident in and come out pretty positive, because Banjo did not look great the first time around, and we're going to need similar results to that if SU is going to come out of this set with a win.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one regardless of what we see here. And we know that Igloo as a player is very capable of going on runs and able to take multiple stocks on their own. As we go into this Banjo-Kazooie matchup, we do find ourselves over on FD. Final Destination is the stage pick coming from Anthema here on this Banjo. So we'll have to see how that one plays out, but no platforms to work with for either team. The blast zone's fairly small as well on this map, so we'll have to see really who gets the upper hand, and right now it looks like it's going to be Igloo on the Yoshi.
Yeah, strong start so far for Igloo, although it does not take much to turn the tides, but so far, again, looking pretty strong, and you certainly can't complain about that. Stock down in the individual matchup and many stocks down in the series, so all of these hits on Igloo are going to matter that much more, but so far doing exactly what he needs to do, overwhelming the stage, catch it, not getting hit by those Wonder Wings is going to be a big factor as well. Now down to 3, does catch that one, but won't quite go down to it. Banjo now down to their last Wonder Wing, but at 152, you'd be surprised to find more than one, as they might have to use it to recover here. Won't quite need it there, but Igloo still just looking to put this first stock away. A bit scary interaction there as he almost gets grabbed, able to jump out of that one, and now just struggling to get in as Banjo has slowed this game down quite a bit, and that's going to be the best way to play it long term.
Yeah, I mean, Banjo doing a great job at finally finding some space with the projectiles. No more Wonder Wings now left available for Banjo, using that last one to recover. The grab coming through as well from Anathema. We'll see, Anathema, excuse me, will be able to find that last stock. 188% built up on this Banjo. Avery struggling to find it.
Yeah, well, such a strong start to this matchup for Igloo. Has gone rather quiet, finally going up and finding the up air he needs to put that stock down and out. But again, the hill to climb has only gotten taller seemingly, and now up to 78% once again. A very strong early stock, or early start to this stock for Igloo, but I mean, cannot take as long as it did the first time around if Igloo wants better results. So now taking a little bit of chip damage from these Banjo hitboxes. Again, Banjo doing a good job of slowing this game down, and that's exactly what it's going to take, right? Playing the patient game. And so far, Igloo has matched it pretty well, but it's a shame that the greater circumstances of this matchup are kind of preventing Igloo from matching it forever, you know?
Right, yeah, no, for sure. The forward air coming through as well. Wonder Wing to try to call out a potential roll or a landing there from Igloo, but unable to find it. The Wonder Wing again possibly was going to expect the back air to come through, but won't be able to find it. Wonder Wing to the side instead will be able to find the kill. Yoshi now off the board, and now it's Willie last up for SU.
Yeah, and what a bounce back from Anathema here on the banjo, right? The banjo looked borderline obsolete in the first set, and having an impact this time around against SU as they continue to slip and slide down the stock count. And this set number 2 is quickly falling out of reach, but not totally out of reach just yet when that man is still on the table. We have seen some incredible stuff from Willie in the past, including 8 stock runs when he's the last player left. So to say that this is impossible would simply be incorrect. In fact, it has happened in the past. Now, is it improbable? Absolutely. But Willie's been there before, and again, we said it, the same situation on the other side where experience matters. Igloo was able to go into a somewhat intimidating situation in set 1 and come out on top from what I value to be his experience. Very calm mindset. Willie has experience too, and while this is a very intimidating situation, he's come out of it before, and I put a lot of value in that.
Yeah, and a lot of that is due to, one, just his mentality of being an anchor. He has really fallen into that role of knowing, hey, I'm the last line of defense. I can't let emotions get the better of me. I need to play clean, solid Smash Bros, and whatever happens, happens, and they can move on to the next set if necessary. I have also seen this player, like you mentioned, go on crazy runs and just win out of, frankly, nowhere, right? And a lot of that is to do with the skill that he has with the characters that he plays. Kazuya and Terry both are very profound characters when it comes to playing from behind. They are very, very good at finding really fast kills and also being able to drag out games, play space, and look for a lot of combos and really great ledge guards from both of these characters as well.
Yeah, Kazuya absolutely is a momentum-based character as well. If things start rolling the right way, boy, it can be stopped. It can be hard to stop that train. But at the same time, in situations like these, it's not uncommon to see Willie pick Terry instead for the longer runs, for the more diverse matchups compared to just a head-to-head 3-stock situation. We are seeing, though, that it looks like Willie will take Kazuya into this run, so we will see if it's enough to get it done, but a tall mountain to climb, a big ask for Willie here, as now down 5 stocks, 8-3 the total count, but with a set buffer after a strong performance in set number 1. While it would be great to walk away with a win right here, tying the series is never a bad thing as Willie starts the momentum early.
And that's one off the board practically immediately from Willie here on this Kazuya. Let's see, Electric will be there. Give him another. Why not? Some kicks thrown in there as well.
Dead.
Into another. Yeah, that is just that is just death, right? I mean, that's FD as well playing a heavy favor in Kazuya there as well.
Absolutely. There's another infamous Way Awesome Kevin call on this very desk. Yeah, it is a game-losing mistake to give any Kazuya player, any competent Kazuya player, Final Destination as his map pick. That it's disastrous, and for the exact reason we just saw. That's all it takes. It sometimes, Smash and really all of these fighting games are games that it takes, 4 or 5 interactions to lose your life. Depending on the game, depending on your characters, depending on a lot of things, it takes, a certain amount of interactions, a certain amount of lost call-outs for you to lose your life. Against Kazuya, this is not a universal truth for many games, but Kazuya on Final Destination, you can lose your life in 1 bad interaction, and that's all it takes. It's for Willie to screw it up, and he's not going to. So a massive start to what would need to be an incredible run for Willie. And again, Kazuya is a momentum-based character. It can be hard to stop this train from going.
Yeah, when the electrics are cooking and connecting and everything just seems to be going their way and they're not dropping combos, that is just like you got to lean back in your chair and go, yeah, that's tough. Like that is not fun to play against. And now with what we were assuming are the last two players available, Botan, a DDD player, will get thwalloped by a Kazuya, and then Sure Hyper here on potentially a Wolf or that Greninja to come out again. So we have to wait and see what the answer is. I would assume it would be Sure Hyper on the Greninja just based on speed and the size of the character that Greninja is a little harder to combo off of it, but who knows? I'm
glad you said that because Greninja as a character can, I believe, low profile under, which means quite literally duck, under Kazuya's electrics, just by like running, I think. Like certain hitboxes that Greninja can put himself into, Electric Wind Godfist does not connect on. So I do know that Willie does not love the Greninja matchup, but it looks like we just saw that Sure Hyper will be coming in on the Wolf, which is a stronger pick for Sure Hyper, at least a more experienced pick, a pick that he is known for, but a significantly better matchup. I don't know if it's a great matchup objectively, but a better matchup than Greninja would have been.
Yeah, Wolf can't duck that low, so that is definitely a perk or point in favor of Kazuya here, but it's really just a matter of finding the connections as we see the fairs and the up airs, the back air trying to connect on the RAR. Could have potentially found a kill there at 77%, a very, very powerful kill move in Wolf's move set that he has to his disposal, but we'll have to see if that comes true. Right now, Kazuya, Willie, finally finding the first ounces of percentage onto this Wolf player. Let's see if he can keep it going.
Yeah, and it looked like maybe a misinput or two on those first hits. Whoops. As Willie forced to go very low, but he does find the stun, and this will lead to a stock for sure as the Rage Drive comes out. All that percentage comes back to bite Sure Hyper in the end, but now finally finds its value. But just like that, again, a stock and a series, a matchup that was looking so Sure Hyper favored, in the blink of an eye can disappear against a character like Kazuya.
Yeah, and that is kind of the power of that character, right? Just in a blink of an eye, you can lose everything, and that is another crumple into the up smash. That'll find yet another kill. 2 stocks to 1 now in favor of Willie here. If he can find this one with 2 stocks left, that would be huge moving into this DDD.
Again, the momentum can be overwhelming against a good Kazuya player, and it's going to take a massive moment here because, yeah, you absolutely cannot afford to let Willie go into your last player with 2 stocks. Now, I do feel the need to mention that the reflector on the laser, a disastrous decision from Willie there as Sure Hyper was all over it and Willie loses a stock that he might have been able to hold on to, but the past is the past. Like I was saying before, I feel the need to mention that when Willie played into Botan, the King Dedede actually was holding his own there for a good while. He didn't take any stocks, but he had Willie well over 100% in the 1-to-1 stocks. Granted, Willie had multiple stocks to work with, but this time around, he wouldn't. So, feeling pretty good if you're FIU, but Willie so far doing what it takes to put his team in a winning situation.
Yeah, air dodge coming through, the grab going through, the down smash coming through from the Wolf, trying to find that 2-frame, but unable to find anything. The roars coming through as well. If he finds one, the Kazuya will be dead, but instead, it's going to be the SD, the Wolf, unable to find the roar, which means that Kazuya is able to recover. Wolf is not, and now we're down to 3 stocks to 1.
Yeah, little thing we know about Sure Hyper as a player is he is very flashy on these characters, on the Wolf. And he will go for very aggressive options, including going a little too far off stage to try to secure that stock, can't quite find the killing blow, and is way too far off. Like we said, the Wolf's weakness is his recovery. So, not enough to make it back to the ledge. And now Willie, all he needed to do was give himself a chance, and boy, has he done that. So, one stock to work with. It will mean perfect Smash Bros required from here on out, but with only one player left standing between them, you have to wonder, is it going to be King Botan, this King DDD that we saw last set, or is Dominator really sitting back there, and was the decision in set 1 to maybe play backups, play secondaries, play subs? We don't know, but either way, a tough situation for Willie, but he's done what he needed to do in giving himself a chance to even be here.
Yeah, I mean, an unbelievable run coming through from the Kazuya in those last 2 games. Is a big bummer losing that stock to the laser. The reflect coming through from Wolf, beautifully played on the side of Sure Hyper. They're able to find that kill, but I mean, you can see the power that Kazuya has, and what this is the kill there with the laser. Very, very good reflect coming through. But yeah, the power of Kazuya is frankly seems to be unmatched in this game, only kind of matched by the other Shotos. Like Ryu kind of has some fun stuff that they can play with, and the Terry coming through as well with the Go meter playing from behind, unlocking Power Geyser, and I can't remember what the other one is called. But,
Buster Wolf.
Buster Wolf. Some very, very strong kill moves if they do connect. So it's going to be scary regardless, I feel, of who FIU puts in.
Yeah, and I really can't get over that laser stock. That's a pretty big mistake because, Kazuya's laser has a massive startup. I mean, there's a very obvious, I'm about to shoot a laser at you.
Watch this.
And, it hits very hard. There's a reason for that. But with a character that has a reflector that comes out that fast, you can't be throwing those around, and especially when you're at a kill percentage and near the blast zone. That one hurts a lot. And I would feel so much more confident if Willie was here with 2 stocks remaining into potentially King DDD. If it was King DDD, I'd feel great about it. But either way, past is the past, right? The situation is that he doesn't have 2 stocks. It's 1 stock against 3, no matter who those 3 stocks belong to, whether it is Dominator or King Botan. We still have yet to hear. We will let you know as soon as we know, but a big moment for both of these squads, right? Florida International down to their last leg. If this falls Willie's way, which there is a lot of momentum right now. I mean, overcoming the toughest challenge, the toughest player that we've seen so far today out of FIU. A lot of momentum in Willie's favor, and if Willie's able to finish the job, that's it for FIU for this Week 1 matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like you said, the last leg for FIU. They can still come back. We don't know what the delay is, so I'm curious if maybe Dominator is in the area, possibly making an appearance.
To drive to the arena.
Unsure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that is what the holdup is. We still kind of are waiting on picking stages. It looks like it is going to be Hollow Bastion coming in, and it does look like it is going to be Botan on that King DDD.
Okay. I mean, this is a big moment. You don't ask for better matchups very often, but Kazuya's dream scenario is to be against heavyweight, big hitboxes like King DDD. So that does not make this easy by any means. This is still a very challenging position to be in, but given alternatives, it's one you can't be too upset about, as he already reflects the Gordo right back into King DDD for a good chunk of 36 damage to start.
Yeah, we can already see kind of the Gordo doing some work here as well. The electric will connect, but won't be able to combo into anything else. A parry coming through as well, trying to find any sort of opening into this King DDD. Electric's being thrown out left and right, just trying to connect on one of them to try to find this first stock.
Yeah, smart aggression so far from Willie, but a good amount of it has not fallen his way just yet. He's taken a good amount of damage that I'm sure he would have liked to avoid by this point in the series, or at least at a higher percentage than I'm sure he'd like to be, with King Dedede still having 3 stocks. The Rage Drive is online, so that will pretty much be a confirmed stock when he needs it. I mean, not at 0%, but you know what I mean. Like, this is a very lethal option now sitting in Willie's pocket if he's able to hold on to it, but he has to be sure to not take much more damage pretty much from now until this game is over. A strong start here, and these are the big hitboxes we're talking about. Oh, just barely missing the spike hitbox on that second aerial, taking him all the way down to the blast zone. But, oh, love to have that one back, able to reflect the Gordo once again, but evening out the percentage game, still holding on to this Rage Drive and doing a good job. King Dedede very high percentage, very close to losing the second stock, but Willie just maybe a hit or 2 away from going down himself.
Now 148%. Now the Gordo will be thrown out, won't be able to find any connection. The reflect coming through yet again from Willie. 153% now built up on this Dedede. Just trying to get that call out. Will be thrown back off stage. Now let's see if Willie can find the recovery here. It looks like they won't be. Oh, the air dodge going up. Unable to find it. FIU survive that second set.
Wow. I mean, there was plenty there to be proud of. Plenty to have hope for, or from, I guess. But Willie just unable to finish those last 2 stocks off. Few too many hitboxes taken along the journey against that King Dedede, and unfortunately, another, excuse me, SD at the end. I mean, that last stock was avoidable, and that was the name of set 2 for Shenandoah. So an unfortunate series, or an unfortunate set there, but thankfully SU did perform so well in set 1, created this buffer that now we will go to a third set to determine this whole thing.
Yeah, and in this third set, you just gotta reset kind of the mental, right? We had an unfortunate SD from Kip there at the very beginning, and we'll have to see kind of where this matchup goes, if it is going to be that Robin to start again, if there is some kind of switch up that maybe Kip does not start, trying to anticipate a Robin, or maybe they do and they try to call out the Banjo start coming through from FIU. We'll have to wait and see kind of what gets brought out in that regard, but it'll be interesting regardless of what happens here in this final set.
Yeah, now maybe correct me if I'm wrong, production, but it looks like we might just be getting right into this third set with no timeout this time around. And I think I like that. Like, there were plenty of reasons to believe that even in set 2, when FIU was playing significantly better, there were so many things to point at that, like, yeah, if Kip didn't lose that first stock, he certainly looked like he would have been on pace to kind of roll through that Robin.
Yeah.
Or, Willie going on that run, given the circumstances, like if that's even remotely a closer series, that he would have the strength to get it done. Mm-hmm. So if I'm SU, I'm thinking the same thing. Let's get right back into this and just clean ourselves up. There's, get rid of the unforced errors and just play our game, the game that we played in set 1. So it does look like we're going to get back into this here fairly soon. But a big surprise, a big change up from both teams, so much that it made me drop my pen. It looks like we just did our first reveal of characters, and it will be Igloo starting for Shenandoah and Sure Hyper starting on the Wolf.
Yeah, the Wolf coming out in the starting position, replacing Anathema on the Banjo, and replacing Lucas there on the Robin, the 2 that we saw start Game 1 and Game 2. So a big mix-up from the SU side as well, saving Kip, trying to avoid that Robin matchup as much as humanly possible, because it does look like Kip might not favor that one as much as they might have liked there in that second set. So We'll have to see where Kip comes into play, if it is kind of the AJ and Kip and Willie are kind of towards that back end to clean things up if needed. So we'll have to see where this one goes. But SureHyper starting, I think, is a big power move coming through from FIU.
Yeah, big statement being made right now that SureHyper does not care who you put in first, that he will take you at least the distance in 3 stocks, if not take more than 3. So while I feel good about having a veteran go into that, having it be Igloo, having it be this cold, calm-minded figure take on the biggest threat we've seen on this FIU roster, I don't love the character matchup, I have to say. Igloo, I think, is going to struggle. We said it, I think, earlier, sort of all the way back in the pregame, that Wolf's biggest flaw is his recovery, but it's hard for a Yoshi to punish that without significant fears of a reversal off stage, of just going out to try to punish and instantly losing his stock for it.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for situations like that. We know that SureHyper is very flashy, is very aggressive. If there's a cool thing that Wolf can do, he's going to try to go do it. So it's just going to be a matter of, can Igloo hold on to these stocks and avoid these sort of dangerous setups or scenarios off stage, and just play a clean game start to finish, because that's what it's going to take to get through this first player.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. You mentioned the potential reversal offstage. The side B is just an instant spike. So if you get hit by that, you're just
in the
gone.
sweet spot.
Yeah, in the sweet spot. There's like a nice little kind of cool, like, you'll see it on stage. It makes that noise. Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's fairly accurate of what the side B sounds like.
I would say so.
Who knows? Yeah, I think I nailed that. Put me in the recording booth. I'll do all the sound effects.
Yeah, we'll listen back to that later.
Yeah, we'll look at that later. But yeah, so it is a very scary move that you can be hit off stage by, as we hop into this first set. SureHyper playing a little bit slower than we saw them start in that second set on this Wolf, not necessarily knowing when to approach this Yoshi, as some up tilts in the up airs will connect the Nair as well, racking up 66% onto this Wolf.
Yeah, this matchup, while it's hard to put a ton of stake on the opening matchup of a 12-12 crew battle, there's a lot at stake right now. I mean, SureHyper, if he were to get knocked out right now without taking 3 stocks, I think puts FIU in a really dangerous situation. Now, don't get me wrong, we did just see Lucas Korn on the Robin go on one heck of a run through SU's roster, but while he looks very comfortable into AJ, I think it's hard to expect that level of success. Man, that's one of those situations we're talking about. But Igloo, quick to return the favor, go right back off stage, fearing nothing, and finding that sour spot forward air and taking stock more.
Yeah, that is exactly what is so scary about that Wolf. That side B and that kind of ledge trap, that up smash from Wolf, the side smash, able to find that one, does scoop from the side, so it does kind of cover that roll get up. If you do opt for that one, it will scoop from that far side, so it is a little bit trickier to kind of recover or get back up on the stage when that one is pulled out. The fair is coming through, up air yet again. The RAR coming through as well, and an up B trying to catch out a fast fall approach from Igloo, but will not fall for it, is the Dinosaur is still alive at 107.
Yeah, the bad string of interactions there for Igloo. Finds himself in quite a hole now, and just like that, those Wolf aerials can take you out in an instant. So, looking for a big statement here. Igloo goes off stage to try and take a quick one back. Not quite able to do it just there, but does find some good percentage nonetheless, and he does have SureHyper off stage once again. Without a jump, I think, does get the up B back to the ledge, and now Igloo, the one in a dangerous spot, but able to get to the ledge, get his jump back, and recover all of his recovery options. Recovers past the ledge that time around. A good mix-up and a drag down back air will confirm into the forward smash. So we are tied. Stock counts once again. Igloo doing a good job not taking too much percentage on that stock, but 70% higher than I'm sure he'd like to be right now against a 0% Wolf.
The grab into up there, just trying to find that back air kill confirm. A very, very strong move, but Avery Igloo trying to find some damage yet again with the up air strings to come through, but instead the roll into forward smash will be able to find that final stock on Igloo. Sure Hyper survives with 1.
Yeah, tough break there from Igloo. We saw that shield health getting very low. So Sure Hyper goes on the aggression, knowing that Igloo's options, defensive options, are extremely limited in that situation. Throws out a forward smash. Igloo cannot shield it or else he will die to it, and unfortunately just can't get away from it in time. So Igloo goes down, but takes 2 stocks off of Sure Hyper, which means that if SU is to keep this thing alive, to keep this thing close, it's going to take Kip going in right now, as we all just saw, and playing a very clean game into a matchup that can be pretty difficult for Pac-Man. A big ask from Kip, but one that we know he is absolutely capable of.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you're SU, Kip specifically, just go 1 stock at a time, right? You have to get 1 stock off of this Wolf and then expect potentially the Robin to come back in and see if you can clean that matchup up as well as we go through kind of the stage select here. SU does have the counter pick for the stage selection. We do know that Kip here does kind of like the PS2 look of things just because of what you get to work with in the space that you can find yourself with as a Pac-Man. The Hydrant being able to find so many gaps in gameplay into certain matchups, so we'll have to see how that one plays out as we go through some of those last kills in the last set. I mean, a very, very close matchup.
Yeah, and you can't be too disappointed with that if you're Igloo. This is FIU's seemingly most threatening player, unless Lucas Korn is able to repeat that success. I certainly don't mean to doubt that player or talk down on that player, but Sure Hyper, incredibly talented, we know that, and just so far off of sheer gameplay alone, while the matchups haven't quite been incredible for him so far in this series, he has looked very threatening on both the Wolf and the Greninja. So, Sure Hyper, a big hurdle for SU to get through, and now only 1 stock left on this hurdle. The hurdle becoming slightly shorter, but still quite a hurdle to get past.
Yeah, 1 stock left. Galaga, both uses thrown out there, unable to find any combo starting strings. The Nair coming through as well from Kip just to try to buy some space to try to farm up something behind that Hydrant. But again, Sure Hyper doing a great job at approaching and getting around this Hydrant, able to put on some pressure of their own. The Galaga finally coming through 55, 64% now built up onto this Wolf to only, oh wow, that was an interesting little kind of ricochet coming through there. The Bell call out will not be there. The Bell in hand of Wolf, but won't be able to do anything with it as Kip is looking pretty darn good in this matchup so far.
Yeah, Wolf playing extremely aggressively, both to a benefit and to a fault. I mean, we see as soon as Kip is able to get this Hydrant between himself and the Wolf is playing relatively predictably. I mean, when he wants to engage, he doesn't have many options to do so, especially with that Hydrant in the way. But Kip, again, just struggling to sort of set up these scenarios that I'm talking about, and now Sure Hyper opting to play a more calm, passive game around the Hydrant, but throwing out these smash attacks. And Kip ready for all of them so far, just trying to get 1 kill option on the board. The Bell does get grabbed. That's certainly something you don't love to see as Pac-Man, but now we play this game. Can Pac-Man deal with his own projectiles? Pac-Man does get the grab, will get the back throw, but not enough to finish that stock, not close enough to the ledge, but that time a back air off the ledge without losing any stocks is perfect results from Kip.
Yeah, that is exactly what you wanted to see from Kip in that scenario. What got a little bit scary there towards the end with Wolf holding on to that Bell. That could have been very, very spooky, but in the end are able to seal the deal on that final stock, finding themselves tied 9-9, and who you can only expect is going to be Lucas here on the Robin to come in and save Botan and Anathema, the Greninja, or excuse me, the Banjo player towards the end here for these matchups.
Yeah, this is a big moment for whoever comes in next. I agree. I think it will likely be Lucas because this is where you've seen success in the past, and I don't think there's reason to doubt that it could happen again, especially if you are FIU, and I know I say that having multiple times now said that I do doubt that it could happen again. But, you know, the one person to go head-to-head with this Kip Pac-Man and come out with a stock remaining was the Robin. And so I think in a situation like this, you can't overthink yourself into trying something egregious, and you run that back. Now, where that changes is, again, that unforgettable SD to start that matchup. Mm-hmm. If you don't get that, how does the outcome change? It's hard to say. But we did just hear that the upcoming opponent will actually not be Lucas Corna on the Robin. That character will be saved, and potentially smartly so. FIU opting to send in Botan on the DDD. Kyle, knowing this person this is Kip's friend outside of the game. Mm-hmm. And when these two teams played last semester, Kip still came out on top, but I think lost 2 stocks along the way, and that was a big deal.
I believe it was just a survival with 1 stock for Kip in those scenarios. So I kind of like the call out here coming through from FIU, being like, all right, this worked last time. Let's see if we can do it again here. Botan, this is your buddy, you know. Let's see if you can get it done. But Kip also has a lot of experience against Botan as well. They've played each other plenty of times, a numerous amount of times here for both of these players. So we'll have to see kind of what comes up. But I do like the Robin getting saved towards the end there. Has played very, very well, especially into AJ, which is a player who is still waiting in the wings here on the side of SU. So maybe that is what the strategy is from FIU here, to see if they can have that counter pick going into that Falcon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I sort of realized as I was saying it, is that, yeah, while Robin was the only character to go into Kip and come out on top, the real value of that Robin was what we saw after. So maybe they are choosing to save the Robin for when they know it will work versus when it looked like it worked. So a big decision here from FIU, and we'll see if it pays off. But like we said, plenty of matchup experience between these two players right here. And last time they played, while Kip came out on top, it was a massive matchup, and one that ultimately, I think, played bigger, or held heavier weight in favor of FIU. So now, as we see the percentage start to rack up, neither player losing a stock yet, but King DDD really starting to land some blows. And while one of the biggest things we hear from Kip in times of struggle for Pac-Man is that he seems to think, or at least this was a big surprise to Kevin and I in the past, he seems to think that Pac-Man struggles to kill. So against heavyweight characters like this, we'll see if he's able to find some of those lethal options, or if King DDD will continue to live upwards of like 200%, because that could be a serious problem for this Pac-Man.
Yeah, already built up to 91 and 148 on the side of the Pac-Man. So we'll have to see. Well, now down to 0. 1 stock gone from Kip thus far in the Botan DDD matchup. The bell will connect. Side smash will come through as well, and that will find the stock in response. But now it's a matter of getting back to the stage for Kip here, rolling back in, able to recover cleanly.
Yep, so 40% now, just looking to even the playing field. And when you've got your opponent pinned against the hydrant like that, that's a pretty good position to be in. But with interactions like that, able to turn the tide right back on you, eating those projectiles and quite literally sending them right back at you could be a serious problem for Kip the longer this goes on. As I mean, you see, it's the game plan, is throwing these projectiles and building advantages from the different projectiles that you choose. But when none of the projectiles are landing, and in fact they're coming right back at you, that is where we can really start to see Pac-Man and Kip specifically start to struggle. But so far, doing significantly better this second time around, I must say, compared to the first. Goes for quite a read there, won't quite get it. DDD able to escape with his life on that one, but a dangerous couple interactions there, dashing around the stage, bell in hand for Pac.
Yeah, 117 built up. Both of these players very, very high percentages on this stock. And again, it's Botan with the first strike, able to find the second stock on this Pac-Man, trying to find a read with the Bell. Will be able to connect it, but not able to find the stock kill with that one. The Bell again being tossed out, but unable to connect. 151%, and really, frankly, a far way to go for this Pac-Man with how heavy this character is.
Yeah, I mean, this is the difference between these two characters. It does not take much for King Dedede to find a kill onto you, and there was an interesting interaction. It looked like Dedede, or at least looked like the stun hitbox came out, or the stun graphic, I should say, came out, but it might have stunned the Gordo and not Dedede and caught Kip a little off guard as he threw a smash attack out. But it's behind him. 200% almost on this King Dedede again. Pac-Man just, it takes so much more to finish these stocks off compared to a stray back air or down air or just something random. But an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Keeps the big angry penguin looking thing at bay. So now down to 1 stock each. King Dedede able to take the first stock in both of these head-to-heads, right? Took the third stock first, took the second stock first, and now with 1 stock remaining, a big moment here for who will take this next stock.
Yeah, 96% built up already, though, is definitely not the place that you want to be if you are this Pac-Man. However, able to get some projectiles going in their favor. The Bell, the side smash does a kill. Oh, it does!
Wow.
It does find the kill. Kip able to survive with 1 stock remaining.
I'll keep it a buck. That really surprises me. But a couple big booms from Kip on that one, and I mean, a massive moment for this team. That stock was crucial because that does wipe away his percentage and give Kip an opportunity to go into who we assume will likely be Lucas on the Robin, and let him have his shot at taking a stock or maybe more on an even 0% playing field against whoever this next player is.
Yeah, I mean, that is the question of who it is. It's going to be either Anathema on that Banjo and possibly back over to the Rob, because we know that is the main of that player. So that would be definitely a little bit of a mix-up with a very powerful character to come back into the swing of things, back into the scene here in this series, at least. Or Lucas, who has been playing pretty darn well for the side of FIU thus far. I believe a couple stocks in the first set, but in that second set, I believe they took 7 stocks, if my math is correct on my end. But yeah, just very, very good stuff from the side of that Robin, who we would expect to come in next.
Yeah, looking back at these replays, while statistically the story is the same as last year, you can't help but feel like that was a very different matchup than last time, because the last time it was a surprise to SU that Kip lost 2 stocks. That time, we knew it was going to be a good one. We know that those players are very familiar with each other, and now coming out with 1 stock left is a massive relief compared to a bit of a disastrous matchup.
Yeah.
So now, whereas a semester ago I would have told you that even though Dedede lost, that was some pretty serious momentum, I cannot say that at all right now. Kip, with a massive win in that moment, now does carry some momentum into this next matchup, and I'm dying to hear who it will be, because I see reasons for both, but I think the bigger decision is, if Anathema comes in now, who does he play? Because the Banjo did not look good into Pac-Man. It had good moments into Igloo there. Took what, 1-2 stocks? One stock off of him, I think. Looking good into Igloo specifically, but looking just bad outright in set 1. So I don't know. It's hard to say, right? If Anathema comes in now, I think it needs to be on Rob. If Lucas comes in now, you risk Kip doing what he has done in the past, which is take a good amount of stocks off that Robin. Now, granted, the SD was a big deal, and now Kip is not on an even stock playing field with this Robin. There's a lot of factors in this decision right now. So we are anxiously awaiting to see who FIU has chosen. They are standing in the arena waiting to press start, and it's Banjo.
I was going to say, I think it might be Banjo because the stage selection is FD, and that is what Athema brought them to in that last. I was like, oh, maybe it is this Banjo to come through, and it will be the Banjo to come through. So we'll see what Kip can do in this matchup. It looked good in the first set. Weren't able to see each other in the second set, if I do recall. So we'll have to see what happens here in their second matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. Kip looked very good, very comfortable into this Banjo 2 sets ago. And to repeat that success would be a massive deal for Shenandoah right now. But circumstances are a little bit different. Only one stock to work with and a different stage. FD a little more Banjo favored, but Pac-Man certainly can hold his own and match the projectile game if needed. So a bit of sparring here in the close-up melee range, but now a little separation means that Pac-Man gets to go to work, find his Galaga combos, get Banjo up to 77%, goes for a key, won't quite land, and now we reestablish the projectile game the other direction. Banjo with a bit of an opportunity to find some damage. The raw Wonder Wing comes out, finds a hit. Wow, an aggressive forward smash there from Banjo. Goes a little wide, won't find a kill. Again, just little interactions from both these players, but that's a big interaction that I want us to keep an eye on. Banjo's Wonder Wing does go right through a fire hydrant and continues through it. So it is not stopped, it sends the fire hydrant, and Banjo keeps going. So Kip is not necessarily safe behind his hydrant, but there's plenty of time to react and plenty of room to work with if you see it coming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw Wonder Wings coming left and right, a key coming out as well. Kip seemed like he possibly, Wonder Wing does connect, only one left. The key coming out does connect, but won't be able to find the kill just yet. Key yet again will be able to find that kill. A little bit delayed there, thought it might. Oh, wow. Going up, will be able to find the kill. Anathema able to take one.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like a tough finish for Kip, but you can't be disappointed with that, right? Getting that one stock is a huge deal. Creating an advantage for your teammates. This is a crew battle. You are not alone, no matter what I said in the pregame, right? So, advantage SU going in and taking that stock when needed. That's a huge deal, as now it will be presumably AJ to have to go in and take care of this Banjo. What I like about that is, again, what I liked about the Robin being the reflector. This Banjo clearly likes to play a bit of a slower projectile-based game, and with Falco's reflector and its unique nature, I feel pretty good about Falco's odds dealing with it, but AJ has had a bit of a slow start to the season today. He has not really been able to get the ball rolling, so a big moment here for AJ to try and sort of settle in and walk away with success here.
Yeah, this is going to be definitely a big set coming up. This is a big matchup for AJ because he is all that's left between SU and Willie, their anchor, right? And I don't like the Kazuya into Robin matchup just because of how much range that Robin gets to play with. So if we can get to that Robin matchup and possibly find a stock in that one to set up Willie for possibly a Terry angle that has a little bit more play in some ranged matchups, that might be the ideal scenario. And of course, the ideal scenario is AJ just goes 5 stocks and then we're all golden and get to go home, right? But that might not be the scenario based on how the Robin matchups have been going. But first, it's 2 stocks against the Banjo that he has to get through.
Yeah, so big moment here for both teams. Again, I mean, I've said that a couple times, and, you know, a big third down here. Like, this is, you know, they only get bigger the longer the game goes. No, I mean, big moment here for both of these teams. This is a fork in the road for both Shenandoah and Florida International. Florida International with an opportunity to claw back and, you know, create a advantage for who we assume to be Lucas sitting in reserve on this Robin, who we know has taken good care of AJ in the past, or AJ with an opportunity to really settle in and make a big moment for the Hornets. And create an even bigger advantage for their last player in reserve.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. We can already see the up tilt, up throw combos coming through from AJ here on this Falco, looking much, much better in this Banjo matchup. The grab coming through, up throw, the laser, almost able to find that aerial to possibly seal the deal in that one, but just unable to find it in that scenario, as now we see Banjo start to get some momentum back in their favor, but still 121 already built up to the 41% on the side of this Falco. Wonder Wing does come out, does connect, gets some good percentage, but not enough to find a kill.
Yeah, I have to say I'm loving it so far from AJ. He's not afraid to throw out the reflector 2-3 times in a row, and that's what it's going to take, right? You can be predictable if your opponent's going to be predictable, and you have the answer for it. Now, he does land on a shield there. That's a tough interaction, but he's found his way in. He's been patient, shooting lasers, throwing his reflector, and taking his time, and I love that. We are not in a rush. Unfortunately, does get caught with the Wonder Wing there on the ledge, so a tough break after a very strong start, but 149 now on Banjo. AJ just looking for an opportunity to try and find one killing blow. I'm not sure what it's going to be. It would have to be probably an up tilt into a back air or something, or maybe just an outright back air as he goes for it there. A little too high. Does get the throw off stage. The Wonder Wing's coming out now, fully exhausted for this stock, but you have to think he's going to lose the stock soon anyway. But AJ struggling to get this one out of the way, and he finally does. So 70% taking the other direction, but AJ now on the board with a little bit of momentum his way.
Yeah, struggling to find these combos like they were able to find at the beginning of this set. We saw a lot of up tilt, up air combos, a lot of grabs coming through as well, but so far, AJ struggling to find any ground presence just due to the little footstool there coming through from the Falco. But yeah, there's a lot of space control coming through from the Banjo that AJ seems to be struggling to work with right now.
Yeah, good mash out of that situation, out of the grab, or out of the grounded. But Wonder Wing's coming out. AJ now certainly at a percent that would die to a Wonder Wing, so got to keep eyes on those when they're coming out. 122% now and off stage, certainly not where you'd like to be, as that is where he lost his first stock to a Wonder Wing, as we are talking about it. But AJ, again, just looking to find his way in, but struggling to do so, as now 66% on this last Banjo stock. If AJ's able to walk away with this, again, trading 2 for 2, we've said it a couple times today, trading 1 for 1, you can't really complain about. And it would give him at least an opportunity to try to take on Lucas on this Robin. Doing a much better job so far in this last stock of building damage and finding his way in, but it's got to keep up if he's to take this stock anytime soon.
Yeah, Anathema playing a great range game.
Nice.
The Wonder Wing does connect. I thought he waited it out just enough. The up B will connect there from Falco, from AJ, but they won't be able to find anything. The back air not able to connect either off of that up throw. Now, all of a sudden, this last stock scenario is getting pretty darn close for both of these players.
Yeah, Wonder Wing goes wide. AJ looking to punish it for sure, but again, the reflectors still coming out as they should. Taking his time, does get a little close for comfort there, but I don't even think Anathema was ready for that one. So we return back to a neutral state. This is very close. I mean, either of these players could go down to just about any hit. It would have to be probably a Wonder Wing for Anathema, but 170%, it would not take much. The falling forward air does not do it. I don't know if the last hitbox of that forward air went off, but that back air certainly did. So AJ gets it done when his team needed it most and creates the advantage needed for Willie to go in ultimately. I mean, unless AJ shocks the world,
yeah,
right?
I know, right?
I don't want to rule that out. But one player remains for Florida International University. We've been here before. One player separating Florida International from the end of their day today, being in the loss or the win column. This time around, though, SU in a significantly better place than last set.
Yeah, this Lucas coming through on this Robin is going to be the last line of defense for FIU, and a very, very strong one at that. AJ now has a big moment coming up here with one stock left to the 3 in Robin to see if they can take at least one stock and set Willie up with an advantage going into that last set. That would be absolutely massive. But we saw in the last set a 3 stock come through on the side of Lucas. In the first set, I believe it was 2 stocks that the Robin was able to find, as AJ did go into that set with 2 stocks remaining on themselves. So thus far, it's been very, very difficult for AJ to get any sort of momentum against this Robin player.
Yeah, this matchup has been very Lucas favored so far in this series, but this is a bit of a different situation, right? In the last 2 sets, the team was somewhat expecting AJ to go in and take care of the Rob. Now that almost 3 whole sets have been played, the knowledge is out there that is no longer the expectation. And the situation is different. AJ only has 1 stock. Now the expectation, or at least the dream, would be for AJ to go in and just get one. Get whatever you can. Yeah. And no matter what you get is a positive. So very different circumstances this time around, and maybe that's enough for AJ to sort of get over the hump and find a stock or 2 off of this Robin. This is the first time this Robin has been in the anchor position, at least in this series, so maybe the pressure is really starting to build up on that player. You got to keep all of that in mind, and behind AJ is a player that Robin has not seen yet. So a lot at stake right now, but ultimately it all boils down to this. 1 player remains for Florida International University, and we are loading in to what could be the final matchup of this series, if not 1 player behind this 1 Falco stock, but a lot at stake for Lucas here on this Rob.
You can already see the combos coming through here. The up tilt into a side air will be able to connect. We'll just have to see if that continues to come through. Sorry, I believe that was Nair actually coming through on that one. And that's the reflector game that we were expecting. The back air connects, but is unable to find the kill. Trying to find the spike. Will he be able to recover? Yes, he will. The recovery off the ledge as well coming in cleanly, but AJ already looking so much better in this Robin matchup. The down air again trying to find the spike. Somehow that connects. Whoa. I did not think that's how that, and the 2-frame coming through as well. AJ already doing what he needed to do.
Again, maybe it just was a change of circumstances was all AJ needed. I mean, again, anything at this point is extra credit, so AJ gets to play a bit more loose, a bit more aggressive, play a little more reckless, and that's what we're seeing right now. Going off stage, going for those spikes at the ledge, none of them connecting, but he does find a 2-frame on the down tilt, and that's all it takes. So a great start here from AJ as Lucas finally starts to return the favor. Can't quite find the confirm off of that L fire, and now AJ with an opportunity to maybe claw this one all the way back, but at a very high percentage, it would take a lot for AJ to get another one, but certainly not off the table.
You'll have to see down air does come through. I've seen him hit that multiple times, a down air into another down air off of the stage, often coming in a ledge guard form, but it does connect. Unable to get back to the ledge is AJ, but now Willie set up with 3 stocks to 2 against this Rob.
And again, at the end of the day, that's all you need. That's all it took was to give Willie an advantage, give him a reason to go into this with a little extra confidence, a little bit of a bigger chip on his shoulder after falling just short of an incredible run in the last set. Willie now only has 2 stocks to get through instead of 4 times that amount.
Yeah.
And he's got 3, right? This is advantage Willie in more ways than one. And AJ doing a great job again when the team needed it most. He absolutely stepped up there.
And now the big question is it going to be Kazuya to come through from Willie here in this anchor spot, or is he going to go and bring out that Terry for a little bit of more versatility here in this ranged matchup? I feel like just the way the night's been going, I feel like it's going to be Kazuya that comes out. I feel like that's just the tried and true. That's what I feel Willie is more confident on and more just calm on that character just because of how well he knows it.
I think I agree, and Kazuya also has a reflector, whereas
True.
Terry does not, and I think that's a big deal into Robin specifically. Granted, Kazuya's reflector is a little different than like a Falco Shine or a Wolf Shine, but it's a reflector nonetheless, and if Willie's even able to get one of those off, I think that's a big deal. Another thing for me to keep an eye out for is I'm curious to see how Willie will deal with these L-Fire side Bs because I'm not sure how the like super armor on Kazuya's up B works, but he might be able to jump out of it, or I don't know. I'm just curious to see how that interaction will play out if we see it, but this is it. Set 3, 1 player left against 1 player left. Willie, the final player for Shenandoah, the last name we will introduce tonight, going in 3 stocks to 2 stocks against Lucas, this Robin, who came off such an incredible run just a set ago. And Willie, with all the momentum in the world coming off last set, just wants more.
I mean, that is an insanely early kill up against this Robin. Lucas now down to their final stock. The jab's coming through, trying to go for that grab, trying to end the FIU player's night, trying to go for any crazy hit right now. Is Willie. Electric just barely missing, but man, if I'm Lucas, I am scared right now. Oh, the Electric just barely missing.
Yeah, dropping that combo, but again, I mean, look at the pressure just by crouching there, and a big call out there to just sit and wait for an up smash. The up smash doesn't kill, but the up special will. Willie goes way up top to finish the job, and Lucas wasn't ready for it. SU starting the season 1-0 against the very team that sent them down to 0-1 just a semester ago.
And that's the power of Willie Kazuya, right? That was just an absolute demolition. 6% built up in that first stock before they were able to find the second stock on to that Robin player, Lucas. And then it was just kind of the waiting game. All right, I'm just going to wait, look for these openings, see if I can hit something crazy. I mean, we saw the down smash come through there for just a moment, potentially finding, well, that probably would have found that kill. If that hits, he is probably dead to an electric up air, whatever it might be. But yeah, just an unbelievable showing from Willie here tonight. And frankly, all of SU played fairly well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a massive moment for this team to be able to go into a brand spanking new season, into a team that you have played before and gave you trouble before. In fact, gave you your first loss of last semester, and come out in a pretty convincing win. I mean, like 2-1. Will be the final score. But again, that second set just reeked of self-inflicted wounds and just little mistakes, avoidable mistakes, unforced errors. So Shenandoah, when playing at their best, seemed to be in the driver's seat of that whole series from start to finish. And that's a massive deal the longer this season goes on, because, yeah, we looked at that group just earlier, and I do think that will be one of, if not the biggest opponent of the group.
Yeah, looking at the group, that was the biggest threat that stood out to me. I know ETSU is fairly strong. I know ODU is also a fairly strong team as well. So those could be some potential hiccups down the road. But FIU was expected to be that kind of titan of this group. And for a week 1 matchup, we were like, oh, dang, that's
what a
tough.
way to start.
Yeah, that is a big start. But after that one is under their belt with a win at that, that is a huge start to the season here for SU Smash.
Absolutely. In the rearview mirror and looking good the whole way. It looks like we may have an interview coming up with one of the stars of the series, someone who clutched up big time. Like I said it, when the team needed him most. We have Nando, once again, our competition coordinator, standing out in the...
So, exciting week. AJ, we're glad to have you back. How does it feel to be back?
It's absolutely amazing. I really missed this, and I missed everyone around here. This is such a great community, and I'm so glad to be back.
Awesome. We talked about it at the beginning, but that was a really tough matchup. We had a lot of expectations going in. How do you think you guys did mitigating those expectations?
We were definitely expecting a little bit of a different roster character-wise. They threw us for a loop there, but we adapted and we did the best we could. This was definitely a weird match, and was with some tough opponents. But I'm really glad that we pulled through and did the best we could.
Awesome. We got a long season ahead of us. What are you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
I'm really looking forward to playing with these guys again. This is such a great crowd, and I think we're going to make some big moves this semester.
Awesome. Any last shout-outs? Anything you want to say to the people back home?
Big shout out to all the people in my fraternity that are watching in the game room right now. Thanks for coming through. Hi, Mom.
Great. Awesome. Congratulations. We're going to let you go celebrate with the team, and we're going to send it back to our boys in the back.
Bars, boys in the send it
boys,
back to the
yeah,
boys in the
whoa.
back. Thank you, Nando and AJ. Congratulations to him. Yes, on a massive performance in the clutchest of scenarios that we saw tonight. A big step up to the plate from AJ and a massive win in SU's column.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great performance across the board. Like you said, AJ with a big clutch up there towards the end, getting that one stock. Frankly, I don't know if it was needed because Willie really took care of those final two pretty soundly, but even still just able to show that, hey, I can do it. I can get this stock and kind of boost the confidence there for AJ is always a good thing to see, as we also take a quick look at who our MVP is for the night.
Yeah, coming up just short in set number 2 of what would have been an incredible and unbelievable way to start the season, but nonetheless still very much worthy of a series MVP award. 9 stocks taken across the series, only losing 3 after playing in all 3 sets. That's certainly something to take note of. And again, down in that bottom right, game 2 going 6-3 when 8 stocks were ahead of him, giving the team so much hope when it looked like things were spiraling out of control. Willie put on a performance in all 3 of those sets.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to see from your anchor player, right? The ability to go on run 6-3 in game 2, a crazy stat line if it's for an entire series, right? But in one set to go 6-3, that is certainly a wild performance there from the SU anchor.
Yeah, absolutely a game wrecker on this Shenandoah squad. But with that, a win for Shenandoah, starting the season 1-0 means that we are done from back here. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to drop us a follow on whatever platform you're watching right now so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming esports action. We will be back next week with more Rocket League, more Smash Bros, and potentially some other titles you haven't seen yet. So be sure to drop us a follow and you'll be up to date on all of it. But I'm Chris Clayton. This has been Kincaid. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might just change their life. We're in this together, and we'll see you next time.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway.
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
Cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.